Okay, guys, let's get started today. And as we know, right, last class we stopped for talking about the Docker security tool, which is an anchor, and Nessus for the network security scanning. These are the two things we have to discuss about that. Uh, Currently, I'm pausing it, those two, and then I'm starting a new one because with the people. Based on the attending now. So this is a new concept. Even if you see from now, that you will easily understand. Now what we are going to talk about is we are going to talk about the SAS. Okay, SAST DAST I asked, which is nothing but a static code analysis, a dynamic code analysis, an interactive application analysis. So we have a lot of things. I mean, these are the basic terminologies you should be learning if you are a DevSecOps person. Okay. Now let's understand the SaaS. Till now, whatever we have talked about, right? That's all into the pipeline. Okay. Pipeline means from understanding the requirements to till the monitoring, there is a pipeline, right? So in every aspect, we do have a security integrated. Okay. Now, in that aspect, I mean, in that particular context, these tools also will be coming into the picture, which is exactly like for example, in a simple Jenkins pipeline or simple deployment process, what we do is first we will compile the code, we will run the code, and then we will package it. And before packaging it, we will also do the test cases, right? Running the test cases. Those test cases could be unit test cases, functional test cases, smoke test cases. There is a lot of things are there in the test. I mean, not like lot, around a few, or at least every organization will have a unit test cases at least. And then functional, then all test cases together, they will be writing, they will be executing before doing a package or before they do a release process. Okay. Now, why they are doing, because for the quality assurance of a product or a build, right? In a similar fashion, to make sure the same application, to make sure it does not have any security vulnerability issues, they have a similar different phases. One is a SAST, which is nothing but a, let me put it in this here. SAST, and which is mainly for the static, basically static application security testing. Okay, so this is more or equivalent to, not like more or equivalent. We will call it as a white box testing. Okay, white box testing, which is nothing but a hacker would be following. White box testing means all positive, all scenarios we would be doing it. And similarly, there is something called DAST. Okay, I'll tell you what that is all about also here. The DAST means, which is a dynamic application security testing. Okay, and if you ask me, this is a black box testing. Okay, which is like giving intentionally wrong values. For example, if you ask me, if you are trying to log in with any of the social website, there is a login form, right? Generally what we do, we'll give a username and password. Instead of giving a username, what if I give my phone number? Will it work? What if I give alphanumeric? Will it accept? Or what if I give some special characters? What if I give some kind of a formula? Or what if I give a 100 lines of a code in username? It's kind of a black box. This kind of I mean, trying with the negative values intentionally is called a black box testing. This is nothing but a sorry, this is a dynamic application testing. Okay, and similarly, there is a one more thing called IAST. Okay, which is nothing but a interactive application security testing. Okay, so this is like a combination of white and black testing, or simply we can say it is a combination of a SAS and DAST. Okay, so these are the things. What do we mean by here is we interact with this. Interact means I manually go and enters the some random values. I go manually and then test the security testing, like how bug bounters would be doing it, right? Similarly, we would be doing. But in case of either SAST or DAST, what they do is they will be interacting with the tools. For example, let's start this way. Okay. Let's talk about the SAST now. What exactly the SAST means? As we mentioned, this is kind of on a white box testing where we will give all the positive values, all the success scenarios we will be doing it. Okay. And basically this would be doing, I mean, this SAST testing would be using at the phase of development. Okay. This is a development phase they would be applying it. Okay. Meaning, for example, developers are working in either Python or Node.js or Java, they'll use some kind of editor, right? What they do is once they committed, once they committed a code in a GitHub, immediately they start applying or do the scan for their against their code. So what does it do is it will scan the entire code and then provide you some kind of a result. The best example for this is tool is a Sonar Cube. Sonar Cube is one of the example for the SAST tool. Let's see how it will work here. Sonar scanning result. So in the Sonar scanning result, uh, let me put it this way here. Okay. If you see here, this is a report which is generated by a Sonar Cube, which is doing by the SAST. Okay. What is used? What it is doing is, let me pull up the bigger image. Okay, let's click on here itself and then we'll see. Yeah, see here, there is something called quality gates, quality profiles, or rules. What does it mean is, for example, quality gates or quality profile means you have a code base of 1,000 files, and among 1,000 files, if you scan it, if you are getting around 90% of code coverage and you have a 90% of bugs, then your build or your code is not a good thing. Okay. To standardize these kind of rules, what they implemented is they have defined something called quality profiles. Okay, quality profiles means, okay, I create a profile. My profile is, if any code scanning result is more than 70%, I can say safely do release, meaning my code is satisfactory, so I can go for the release process. This way I will create a profile with the set of configuration in that profile saying that my code coverage result should be more than 80%. Then only that should be fall that. Okay. Another one is here rules. Rules is nothing but these rules are defined by a open source contributors. For example, if you define or if you write a code in a Java, if you define a variable in a Java, you should start with a variable name and equivalent on, generally I'll tell you what I'm talking about is, uh, are you okay? Cool. Let me put this one. Okay, I thought, see here, this is what I'm talking about. I just written and noted down here. For example, here I have defined a variable in Java. Java is like first data type and then variable name and equivalent to the value of it. Okay, so this is the static, this is how we need to define a variable, or if I write a function in it, right? For example, I need to write a function one, and this is a definition. So there are some standards if when we write a code, right? These standards are nothing but a rules, that rules will apply on your code. For example, if the Java in the Sonar Cube, there are rule sets, that rule sets related to the Java, and each Java rule will have a some kind of an instruction. If the variable is defined like this, that will treat this is a fine. And if you just define this and you do not use anywhere else, then it is kind of a memory consumption error. Sonar Cube Java rule will throw you, hey dude, you have defined a variable, so but you never use it. This is a kind of a memory occupation. Please remove this. It will suggest you, or it will give you warning based on these kind of a rule sets. Okay, these are nothing but a rules which we were been just talking about. The combination of rules and combined with the quality profiles, it will show you here. Finally, it has zero bugs and zero vulnerabilities, but it has a code smells. It will take code smells are the 57 code smells I just mentioned you right here. Okay, you just define a variable, but you never use. This is kind of a warning. In a security terms, they will tell you a smell. Smell means there is a possibility of issue. That's why they tell us smell here. Okay, there are 57 such kind of an issues. If you want to fix it, almost 4 hours it will take time. So the code coverage it has done as almost 100%. There is a zero duplication. This is kind of a report. Okay, this entire will give you at the before deploying an application. Okay, that is nothing but at the development phase itself. Sonar Cube is the best for that. Okay, and there are some advantages and disadvantages also. Okay, let's talk about the what is advantages for this. Advantages is fixing the vulnerabilities before deploying itself. Okay, and it's very cheaper also, meaning you don't need to spend some money to do this, because Sonar Cube has a community edition, enterprise edition, development edition, and all the stuff. It's up to you if you want to use the community edition or enterprise editions. Okay, this is one thing. And one more thing is, it will 100%, I mean, it will code coverage will be 100%. 100% means if there are 1,000 files, it will do scan for the entire 1,000 codes. Okay, 1,000 lines of the files itself. And one more thing is, to find all these vulnerabilities, you don't need to run an application. Okay, you just give the where the source code is, that's it. It will do a scan whatever it wants. But sometimes if you want to find the vulnerabilities, you need to run your application. But in the SAST model, you don't need to run it. No need to, not a running here. Okay, not running required, I mean, application to be running. Okay, application to be running here. And this is one thing. And one more thing is, the feedback is a very small time, like almost based on the scanning time, almost in within 5 to 10 minutes it will do the feedback also here. And one more thing is, while reporting it, right, if you see here, there are four code smells, right? If you just click on here, right, it will directly show and point to you where exactly that code smell. It will point to the line number 57 or line number 5. There is a code smell, and then directly we can fix it. It won't throw you random numbers like other programs here. Okay. Okay, and this is one thing. And one more thing is, it will customize the reports also. For example, in the report, if you want to all the bugs of a critical level, it will do that. Or you want all the things, critical, medium, intermediate, beginner, warnings, ignorables, all these kind of, you can customize these also. Okay, this is the major thing. And one more thing is automation part of it. Automation means you can include this Sonar Cube scan analysis in your existing pipeline. The pipeline can be Jenkins pipeline or Bitbucket pipeline, or your manual process also. These are the some of the advantages of the SAST tools. If you take SAST tool is one of the Sonar Cube is one of the SAST tool here itself. Okay. And there are something called a very little disadvantages also here. Okay. See, one thing I remembered, I mean, I told you like initial also, if there is a solution, there is a problem, then only solution becomes, I mean, it become a solution, right? So meaning, if there is a problem, you would get definitely a solution. Meaning at the same time, if you have a solution, there is a problem behind it. Okay. Similarly, since we have a couple of disadvantages also, because of disadvantages there are a lot of evaluation comes. We'll talk about that what it is. Okay. Sometimes it will give you false positive. False positives means even though it is not a bug, it will still throw you, okay, there is a bug, something like that. Give a false information because of the quality of the rules they have written or they adapted it. Okay. And one more thing is it is a language dependency. Meaning, for example, if your project using a Java, you need to find the rules related to Java. If you have a Python, you need to install the Python related rules in your SonarQube. If you are using a Golang, you should get the rules related to the Golang. And these kind of languages are around 15 languages the SonarQube would support. Not only the 15 language, of a SonarQube, but if you take any of the SAST tool, most of the tool will support a limited types of languages which are popular. Okay. And one more thing, this is one thing. And one more thing is, if you want to automate it, it will be somewhat difficult using a REST APIs. Okay. That is the some of the disadvantages, which are very less only. Okay. I hope this clears you. And now we are talking about the I mean, we just talked about the SAST part. Now let's talk about the DAST also here. DAST is nothing but the dynamic application security testing, which is also we will call also black box testing, which produce basically on operation side, meaning you can find or you can use while running the application, meaning not while running or while running the application or after deployment. Okay. Here in the SAST, you would be using the while the development phase or before deployment. Okay. So once you deployed, you can start doing a DAST analysis also. If you want to do a DAST analysis, it should be up and running. Then only it can able to do that. Okay. The best thing is in the DAST, it will find the vulnerabilities. Okay, it will find the vulnerabilities at the time of running, and then while running, it's easy to find out a different kind of an issues, especially authentication. Okay, authentication and authorization. Okay. You can't do this kind of a testing or validation in terms of a security, even normal testing also you can't run without running the, I mean, you can't do the testing without running an application, right? Similarly, this is the same thing. If you want to apply the I mean that dynamic application security testing, you need to run this application before doing this. Okay. And one more thing is, this for this, it is an independent of a language. Okay. Meaning, what does it mean is it is a independent of language. You don't need to, even if the application is written in Java, Golang, Python, or Perl, or Shell, or anything, it does not require it does not require to mention which language it was being used in. Okay, just need to run it, that's it. Okay. And nothing else. And one more thing is, it does not code the scan. I mean, it will run the scan the application of the entire whole the app and system also here. Okay. Even if you start applying some testing, right? For example, if we are doing a black box testing on a user login functionality, ultimately once if you complete the user login functionality, uh, user login test functionality, you would have been tested the front end page, back end page, and even database entry also. So it's kind of a whole system you are testing with this. Okay. And moreover, it will attempt to fail, or it will attempt to fail, or it will attempt to break the system. Okay, this kind of a functionality it will try to do that. Okay, and if not, we are good. I mean, our application is good also here. Okay, and one more thing is authentication, right? I told you, right? Authorization and authentication. Authentication is you are logging in. Authorization means once you logged in, will you able to access any other profiles? Okay, that is kind of a authorization. And even the bugs, which is kind of things which will find is like CSS, SQL injections, okay, and cross-site scripting. I mean, CSS means cross-site scripting, stored cross-site scripting, reflection cross-site scripting, SQL injections, cookie manipulations, I think HTS, which is enforcing HTTPS, and what else, cookie X frame options. These are some kind of issues we would be finding while you are doing a dynamic code, I mean dynamic application security testing. Okay, and one more thing is, the best thing is, it will find the vulnerabilities in third party libraries also. For example, if you start integrating, if you start using AWS SDK library in your application, right? Obviously, you should use some kind of a driver if you want to even connect to the database. Okay, for example, JDBC driver, right? That is a third party. First party is the system, second party is your application. In between, if you are using any third party libraries, that will become a third party like JDBC, right? So, so for this kind of third party libraries also will be scanned by the, or will be tested by the DAST tools. Okay, the best example for the DAST tool is, there are things here. Okay, so Nessus will come as a security scanning tool for the network, and also DAST tools. Some tools will have a SAST tools and DAST tools. Tenable is a DAST tool. Okay, Tenable is another one which is a famous like a Nessus part. Okay, these are the some of the examples of the example tools for the DAST tools here. And at the same time, I mentioned here advantages, right? And at the same time, it will also have some kind of disadvantages. Okay, these disadvantages will be mostly probably or very negligible. Okay, like it does not evaluate the code. Okay, it does not evaluate the code, meaning it does not scan the code. Okay, because the application is running, we don't give an access to the database, I mean our source code part of it. And one more thing is, you will be run this DAST after deployment or while running a application. This is the biggest kind of a headache point, meaning once after you deployed the application and then you are testing and then you found a vulnerability, means which is a cost expensive means you have to spend a lot of time, or you have to rewrite the entire code, or redesign the entire code because of these kind of an issues. So it is kind of a small issue, a small disadvantage, but it is acceptable also. Okay, and one more thing is, if there is a single project, you can easily install this and then work on it. But if it is a larger project, you require a separate infrastructure for that. Okay, meaning we can easily set up Tenable or Nessus for a small setup. But if we have a larger code base, right, meaning multiple projects, we should be using we should allocate a separate instance for this DAST tools. That is a major thing. Okay, and one more thing is, it will give a lot false positives, meaning even though it is even though it is acceptable, but still it throws some alarm saying that okay, this is not the right or something, but we can ignorable that also. This is the some of the negatives of the negatives of the or disadvantages of the SAST and DAST. Okay, and if you ask me, if you ask me, basically the major differences between the SAS and DAST here is about the SAST would be used by the developers, okay, or QAs, okay. But in case of DAST, these will be done by the hackers or security teams or blue team or gray team or red team. It's all under the, they will come under the security aspects also. Okay. And one more thing is the difference is developers or QAs will have a internal structure of an applications. But in case of a hackers, they don't know the what is an internal, what how they have written a function, how many APIs they have written. So they don't find it and even they don't require also. Okay. And one more thing is this, I mean, when it comes to the SAST, it required a source code out of it. Okay, source code. But in case of a DAST, it has to be operational. Operational. Okay, meaning it has to be run here. Okay, and here it is. You would include the SAST at the stage of development phase itself, but you can use this one at the releasing, before releasing. Okay, this is another one. And here code based scanning, but in case of dash tools, you would be doing a environment or system wise scanning. This is another major difference. Okay, I mean, basically these are the major things which I think of it as the one. Okay, meaning these can be automated also here. Okay, this can be automated. I mean, I'm telling you the common now. This can be automated. This is also automated here. Okay, this is the major difference. And now the point is, let's talk about IAST, which means integration application security testing. Okay, these are being developed or these are comes because of the disadvantages by the SAS and DASTOS. These are the things they have allocated. I mean, basically how this was formed is, as I mentioned you, right? If there is a problem, there is a solution, right? To overcome these kind of a disadvantages from the SAS and DAST, right? They started, I mean, there are something comes up, it's called IAS, which is an interactive application security testing. Okay. And what they do is they'll combine SAST and DAST together and do the forming. Okay, this is what they do itself. And they can implement this in the SDLC process itself. And this is one thing. And majorly, the main advantages of this also, they're able to integrate with the CI and CD tools. It's also here. Okay, but in case of DAST, you can't integrate this with the CI/CD. But in case of a SAST, there is a possibility, not possibility. You can integrate with the CI/CD also, the SAST. But IAST can be integrated with the CI/CD also here. And one more thing is, it provides the detailed information on the root of the vulnerabilities and including the code location also. Meaning, in the SAST, right? In the SAST, what does it do is, it will just point out to the code where the problem is. It won't give you much information about it. Okay, but in the DAST, it will find the vulnerabilities, but it don't know where the code it exacts and which part of code is responsible for that vulnerabilities. But in case of IaaS, what does it do is it will give you the complete information about the vulnerabilities. Okay. And one more thing is code location also will give you that. Okay. So this will be happening in the infrastructure. I mean, interactive application security testing. Interactive means manually doing. By interacting to the applications, we will be testing, like how bug bounters would be doing these things. Okay. And one more thing is it will give you the real time result. Okay, what does it mean is once you tested it, once you started doing it, it will give you on the fly itself. Okay, it won't wait for wait to complete the entire scanning and then give you result. Okay, it will do go line by line. Okay, I found this on this line and then give you. It won't give you as in kind of a report kind of thing. Okay. And one more thing is either in a SAST or DAST, there is nothing for the API testings also here. Meaning, meaning what does it mean is it won't provide you any testing exclusively for the APIs and testing part here. Okay. And one more thing is it will combine the entire thing like to do analysis of the source code, runtiming it, and control the data or control the report whatever it has been generated. And even it will show you the configuration part also, and even it will show you the vulnerabilities in the libraries or the frameworks which is using as a third party. So that is the best thing in the one more thing in the IAST part of it. Okay. So basically the combination of using a SAS and DAS tools would be the will give you more result than relying on the things here. Okay. Okay. So generally what is they would be doing is there is a something called what do you say, uh, I forgot that name, RASP kind of thing. What do you mean is, now I hope you understand what I'm talking about here. You would be using a SAS tools at the time of development. You use the DAS tool at the time of running an application. Finally, once you run your application, you would be deploying it. Okay. In order to do a deployment, like once you've done the deployment with the production, you would also do something called RASP. Okay, which is nothing but a this is nothing but like a runtime application self protection. Meaning in AWS shield we talked about, right? Combining all resources together, we can apply some kind of a rules and then get a protection, right? Similarly, you can get the runtime application self protection, which is the nothing but a we are securing ourselves, but it is not a methodology or some kind of a procedure like a SAS or DAST, but it is a one process people would be start using it and nothing about this. And if you ask me, we have seen tools, right? For example, for SAS SonarQube, for DAST, Tenable or Nessus, right? There are some tools which has a SAS tools and DAST tools both together. Okay. I'll just show you. I mean, basically, if you see here, code coverage, SAS will be doing, and lower false positive, no. DAST is doing a low false positive exploitability vulnerabilities, and it does not do the code visibility, and it does not, you cannot integrate the SAS tool within the source SDLC integration, but you can do the platform support. There are a lot of pros and cons in terms of the SAS and DAST I asked, if you see here. Okay, so that's why the people would be using a SAST and DAST, both the things in their environment. Okay, so the best thing is, okay, looks like what we discussed. Okay, yeah, as I mentioned, right, this is a white box, this is a black box. I asked is kind of a gray box, which means a combination of the white and the black box. Okay, this is what it will be doing. So now what I'll do is list all together. Okay, see spectral ops, Vera code. Yeah, this is the best one. Even most of the MNC companies will be using a Vera code itself here. Okay, this will contains the, where is the Vera code? Right. Vera code contains a SAST related and a DAST related also here. But if you want exclusively separate tools for SAST and DAST, you have to install separate tools in that. But if you choose to install one tool which contains or which supports the SAST and DAST, you should be doing that also here. Okay. Yeah, this is majorly an overview or the differences between the SAS and DAST and I asked, which is nothing but an interactive application security testing. The, every most of the companies would be using it. Okay, I hope this information helps you. And yeah, this is it for today. And mostly as a DevSecOps person, your responsibility is you have to know these terminologies and at least these tools also. Okay, and nothing much is required. We don't need to learn a lot about the security part of it. Okay, yeah, guys, that's it from my side. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can reach out to me on the next class itself. Thank you, guys. Sandeep.